Tell us about National Nutrition Month.
So National Nutrition Month happens one time a year, and it is essentially an informational thing that the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics puts out just to kind of make like a public service announcement and help educate people nationally.
What is the theme for this year?
This year, the theme for National Nutrition Month in March is actually put your best fork forward. And essentially the meaning of the theme is make sure that every bite you take is a bite that counts. And what we would mean by that is, you know, if you're going to put something into your mouth, be mindful of it. There's a lot of people that eat things and they don't really pay attention to what they're putting in their mouth or how much they're putting in their mouth. And we want to make sure that you're putting in things that are considered nutrient dense. And the definition of nutrient density means that you are eating something that is high in nutrition, that has the least amount of calories as possible. So an example would be eating a fresh apple is more nutrient dense than drinking a glass of apple juice.
What is a registered dietitian nutritionist?
A registered dietitian nutritionist is essentially a healthcare professional. We are considered like the expert for food and nutrition. And I like to say that the RD in registered dietitian stands for realistic dietitian, because you have to be pretty realistic that sometimes you are working to individualize plans for people and you can't say you can never have this again in your life. And so we really translate the science of nutrition and make it work for that person's lifestyle and hopefully help a person to have a healthy lifestyle.
Is there a simple way for people to plan healthy meals and snacks?
Well, I have been a dietitian now for 20 years, and I learned a long time ago that you need to keep it simple. And I actually had created a visual when I was pregnant with my daughter because both my husband and I have a horrible family history of health-related chronic health conditions, and we wanted to make sure that from a young age we raised her to know how to make healthy choices and control portions. So I've always used this simple hand visual where I let people know that each finger on one hand represents the 5 natural food groups that we've had since the beginning of time. And so your meal is balanced if you're choosing some kind of meat or protein, because if you don't want to consume animal product, there are plenty of plant type of proteins like nuts and soup beans, things like that. So some kind of a protein, some type of a fruit, some type of a vegetable, some type of a grain, preferably whole grain, which look at the fiber content. If it's higher in fiber, it's going to be whole grain. My goal is for people to pick things that have at least 3 grams of fiber or more, and then some type of a low-fat dairy item. So if you're choosing a protein, a fruit, a vegetable, you know, some kind of a dairy and a whole grain, then you have a balanced meal. And then your palm represents portion. So if you had kind of a palm size of each of those items, you know, those 5 items are going to be plenty of food where a person is satisfied. If you ever need more of something, you always go for the non-starchy vegetable first, you know, load up on something like that if you need seconds. And then you can also have a little bit extra of a small portion of like a fresh fruit.
What inspired you to start your business?
So 3 years ago, I started my own corporate and community wellness consulting business because, like I said before, I've worked as a dietitian now for 20 years. Early on in my profession, I actually worked in public health. And when you work in public health, you're really able to educate and empower everybody that you work with. And then I've spent the last chunk of my professional time in the clinical world. And in the clinical world, you see barriers. People have transportation issues. They may not be able to get in for a session. There's a lot of financial barriers. Maybe their insurance doesn't cover a registered dietitian session. Maybe they have a very high out-of-pocket deductible that they have to meet. Maybe the times that are being offered to actually, meet with the health professional are not ideal times that work for their schedule. So going into private consulting just gave me a way to be able to help eliminate some of those barriers and to help reduce the costs because my goal in going into this profession is to be able to help anybody. And so by offering it to the community and by being able to go on site to businesses, then I'm able to educate people, and hopefully they will end up having healthier lifestyles.
What services do you offer to the community?
So some of the services that I offer to the community, I have people that reach out to me sometimes that want maybe a private consultation at a grocery store. Maybe they newly got diagnosed with high blood pressure or diabetes, and they're just needing some guidance on, what type of choices are good for me to make at the store. What type of things do I look at on the food label. I do have a few different, what I call comprehensive education programs. I have a diabetes and pre-diabetes one. I have one that is weight management. I have a heart health series, a sports nutrition series that's kind of geared towards middle school and high school age. And then I have like a childhood nutrition series. And I'm pretty blessed that we live in a wonderful community, that I have churches and I have community groups that have allowed me space to be able to offer these group sessions, low cost, so that way people can afford them. And so I usually offer those. I run them in the fall and in the winter based on, if there's enough interest.
I see you're on site at Fort County today. What services do you offer for businesses?
Yeah, so I'm out here today. Fort County actually didn't have school today for their students, but today was a staff development day. And because February is recognized as National Heart Health Month, their wellness coordinator had got a hold of me and wanted me to come out and offer a healthy heart presentation to staff. So what I have found very popular amongst the business world is that they really like it if I provide some kind of a healthy recipe, some kind of a tasting sample. So today, because we were talking about healthy heart and February is kind of known for chocolate and Valentine's Day, I actually had the culinary students prepare black bean brownies. And these are nice because for a person who is gluten-free, they're a gluten-free option as long as gluten-free oats and gluten-free chocolate were used in the recipe. So it's kind of exciting to see people taste things that normally they wouldn't try making that on their own until they've tasted it first. So a lot of the businesses, I'm doing lunch and learns. I'm helping them with corporate wellness programming. Many businesses in our area actually get wellness grants from their insurance plans, but I'm finding that they have staff that don't necessarily have a background in wellness, so they don't know how to implement some kind of programming. So lots of tasting samples, lots of cooking demonstrations, lots of lunch and learns, or participating with health fairs.
How can people contact you if they want to learn more?
Okay, so people can contact me through my Step Toward Health consulting business. I have a Facebook page, Step Toward Health with Michelle Price. I have a website, which is www.steptowardhealth.com. My phone number is 419-551-1684, and my email address is michelleprice@steptowardhealth.com. And in Williams County, I also sit on the Community Health Improvement Planning Committee, and my goal was to establish a Williams County Wellness Facebook page. So if you do a search on Facebook for Williams County Wellness, that is a open group Facebook page. And the purpose of that page is to keep the community informed about wellness related offerings. So it's kind of a spot that people can go to and get up to date information.
Well, thanks for your time today, Michelle, and teaching us about wellness and health.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Brittany.
And I'm Brittany Rosenthal, reporting for ABEX Community News, Bryan.
Now, Brittany, you've been involved in the ABEX program for 3 months now. What are your thoughts on the program?
It's definitely helped me boost my confidence a lot. I've met so many great new people in my community that I never would have had the chance to meet otherwise. It's really just been great for me overall.
And would you recommend this for other students?
Oh, definitely. If you ever want the chance to get out in your community and really just meet new people, it's a great opportunity to do that.
And Ann, we want to thank you so much for being one of the sponsors, Spangler Candy being the sponsors of this program. What are your thoughts on the program?
Well, it's great to see the young people out doing stuff that gets them involved in the community.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you.